Hey guys, welcome back to Chaotic TV. This is the final game in a best of 3 series. We're tied 1-1 between these Zerg and this Terran in the top right of Cloud Kingdom. Let's just jump right into it. It is the FXO player, the blue Zerg. It is Leenock, taking that last game by force after losing himself in the first game. His opponent, the red Terran of the newly reformed Quantic Gaming, it is Apocalypse, using a barcode ID. Now, he had a build order loss in that last one, and we'll see what he decides to go against this time. I think he got a little bit cocky after his first game. He went all kind of greedy, and got those 3 command centers as well as the high-tech route going for those siege tanks. A lot of times you see players who do go for those 3 command centers, they'll chunk out 3 barracks, a whole lot of marines, single tech lab for stim and marauders, and then they'll just wall off the front while they get their refineries, a quick factory, and a starport right behind it, just to get the medevacs, and then they take a third. Because by that time their naturals mineral line has been saturated. That's the word I'm looking for. By that 3rd command center, and SCV production is through the roof. Now, Leenock, on the other hand, was able to do some very, very powerful Roachling, Baneling bust on 2 bases, showing that he was not one to be trifled with in this series. Now we have the full wall off coming down for Apocalypse, but not before Leenock gets his drone in here to try to pick off this SCV. Even if he cancels the SCV by killing it, another SCV will come and pick it up right away. But it doesn't seem like a big deal losing 50 minerals in the total scope of the game, where 40,000 minerals and resources total can be used. But it's a mind thing. If you kill off this SCV, you just get really annoyed as a player, and he is going to actually kill it off if he's at all lucky. Because the drone is... Oh, 3 SCVs are repairing, but that's a little bit of mining time loss, so FXO Leenock has been very powerful in annoying the ever-living piss out of Apocalypse, I'm very sure. Continuing to micro that away, but now we're going to see an extractor, and then he's going to kill the extractor right as it gets to the end and rebuild it over and over and over just to piss off Apocalypse a little more. A single marine cannot kill this. Once you get up to 3 marines, then you can start whittling away at the extractor, but he can still get up to the point where it's remaking twice or something like that when you have 3 marines. But he did get lucky and kill that drone. I'm going to cough a second. Pardon me. And now we see a command center coming out of Apocalypse. He's probably going to... Oh, he's not being safe at all. He's going again for these 2 refineries. If he doesn't go for a 3rd command center, he might be a little bit more safe than... but his economy will definitely suffer as he doesn't have the SCV production that he will need from that 3rd one, as well as the extra mule that comes from that 3rd command center. That's the thing about a 3rd command center. Not only do you build it, which takes a while, you have to stack on an orbital command, which takes a while, and then your economy goes through the roof. So it's a very asymptotic line. If you looked at it at the graph, it would shoot up like that. But we do see a 3rd command center coming out of him. He did not learn his lesson in the last game, or maybe Leenock has decided to play a more passive game. If Apocalypse gets that lucky, then we're going to see something very interesting. We're going to see the longest game we've seen out of the 2 best of 3s I've pulled for you today. We saw Huck and Huang Xin, a fellow Quantic player of Apocalypse, and we're now seeing Leenock and Apocalypse play. But anything past 15 minutes is going to be a very long game compared to the other 4 I've already cast today, which can make for 4 very fast videos, but they're all entertaining. Quick games are pretty darn entertaining, especially with pro players like this. The difference between a quick game on ladder and a quick game with pro players is that the micro is there for the pro players, and they try to stay as long as they can, and they can get lucky. Pardon the stuttering there. They can get lucky and hold off these fast rushes with some incredible micro. We are going to see the reactor factory. He's foregone getting a 2nd barracks like he did in the last game, going straight for that starport. And no stim yet because he hasn't put down tech lab. But if he decides to, he might even do a medevac Hellion drop into the main of Leenock, who has He's building a roach warren of his own, so if he decides to put down a baneling nest, then we might see something out of him that we saw in the last game. He has a third gas, which is something a little bit different, but he only has the one harvester on it right now. Then in differentiating from the last game is what I'm talking about. I love my new mic. He's bringing his queens across so far. He's going to be able to use them to reinforce his roaches, but they will be spotted by these Hellions, I think. And even though they'd be able to take out the Hellions, knowing that they're coming across tells Apocalypse that there's something big coming in, and we already see the baneling nest, we see more lings, we see roaches already coming out. So we see bunkers going up for Apocalypse right now, and he's going to start chunking out quite a few extra units. He's got a Banshee coming out, which is something different. I thought he was going to bring out Medivacs. He's already switched into a tech lab after those first two Hellions, and we see reactive Marines coming out, which is very, very good for him. A third barracks even is going to be able to provide the army that he needs to hold off what Leenock's bringing across the map right now. We see more creep being spread, but it's not going to get there by the time the Queens are already here. That's a little bit more reinforcement than we saw out of the last game of Leenock on Daybreak. Both players are a little bit supply blocked, more so for Apocalypse than for Leenock, because as he just got an Overlord to come out, but he will hit that supply cap before his supply depot is even halfway done. He's got another one coming down behind it. A supply depot on the front here to soak up some of those banelings that are coming in. The bunkers are full up. Their Hellions are here to take out as many of the banelings as they can. The SCVs are here to repair. You see the bunker went down, and SCVs are already dying, but there's a tank on the high ground killing off these roaches. The high ground vision is provided by that Overseer. It's being picked off by the roaches right now, just being marketed away very effectively. The banelings are able to take out the supply depots, but not the tech lab. The tech lab is not researching anything, so the Marauders would still be able to build, but he's not building any right now. He's continuing his Banshee production. The Overseer is here, which will counteract whatever cloak he wanted to bring in. So Leenock has held off all sides of this right now. He has decided to bring in anything that would fight off. The Queens would help against the Banshees. The Overseer helps against the Banshees. Any anti-air that Apocalypse could have thought of, yeah, that's the right way to say that, is in favor of Leenock. But now we have siege tanks in siege mode, which is ever so powerful against any Zerg unit. If you move them forward up here, then the Overseer would be able to give the high ground vision, and these roaches would try to snipe it, which is why he's keeping them in a little bit of a safer spot, although he's moving this one down here just to take out the creep tumors. And you can see that the creep came across for what reason? But we see a big push in. Sorry, I was thinking in my head while I was watching this happen. More roaches come in, and he takes out that tank, but the Marines are dying very quickly to the Zerglings being repaired by that orbital command. All those SCVs continue to die, and we can look at the count right now. 19 workers have been killed by Leenock, but the supplies are still pretty even up, and this tank has 9 kills already. Another tank is going down to the foreground just to piss off these Zerg units, and he's going to push them away, but not before he's got this creep tumor here to block off the landing party of this this orbital command. He's going to have to land it or scan with a couple of Marines and take out the remainder of these creep tumors. And now this tank right here goaded all of these units into coming forward, and then the other tank was able to back him up. It looks like, yeah, okay, this Overlord was the one that dropped the creep, and the Queens put down the creep tumors, and then they just spread out over here. The Marines weren't even in place before he did that scan. That was kind of a wasted scan. If he had brought in 2 more Marines and then scanned, he could kill off both of those tumors before anything happened. And now the Queens are still trucking across the map. You see how slow they are, but there are already Queens over here. Oh, this Banshee has done its damage whilst everything was happening. Workers killed, 27. That's amazing. We've got another Banshee up here. Now the Queens are just now being rebuilt. A Spore Crawler is there, but this Banshee is on hold position, and now we have bundles coming out. But these 2 Banshees have done their dirty work, and this game is probably going to even up. Both Banshees are dead, but the economies are going to be stabilized, and we're going to see something more standard come out of this. It's going to be delayed, but still standard in TZZ. And we are indeed at the longest game of the night right now. He still has not found that last creep tumor. Killing off this one with the Banshee is going to be helpful, but ooh, he's missed the scan again. More Banshees are going to come out. He's going to send this one out and try to continue to kill off some more excuse me, more stuff. Infestors are coming across the map, which is going to be really, really annoying to Apocalypse. if he doesn't put down anything, but he does have that missile turret, as you're seeing right now. The bunker is already in place. We have a little bit of long-distance mining whilst he waits for that creep to disintegrate. The fact that these SCVs aren't going to be able to put down this supply depot tells him that there's something coming in here, but he does not see that the ripple in the ground of these... wow, I guess you can't see. I thought you could see those little dudes running through as they move, kind of like you can see roaches, but he's going to plant a whole lot of infested Terrans right here, kill off all of the mining of his top base, and even just piss off Apocalypse a little more. Now we have another Banshee coming across the map. This one has got 0 kills, but it sees that there's a third base coming down. Some changelings are spotted, everything, and we have not seen the infested Terrans come out of these infestors as of yet. Leenock is a little bit supply blocked. He doesn't have another Overlord coming in, and the units on the low ground are going to be slow to react to all of the infested Terrans that come out. He needs to actually put them there while all these units are here. You can see how quickly these mineral fields are waning, and he's going to do a big SCV transfer in just a little bit when he gets his third base down, but not before Leenock decides. There he goes. He's selected them, and he's probably going to drop all of the infested Terrans on either side just to block this in. I'm sorry if I'm focusing too much on here. I'm trying to keep you abreast of all the best action that's going on in this game. He's going to move this third command center over here. The creep tumors are trying to block off that spot, but now you can already see that some of the SCVs have transferred, and Leenock's infested Terran push will not be that big unless he's just using these as a backup, as like a counterattack in case this big force from... oh, no, there they all go. He's going to try to snipe this entire mineral line, as well as the probably command center. Yeah, he's targeting the command center. He's going to try to set it on fire and have it burned down and killed before, but you can see the command center is even faster than these infested Terrans, and they're going to try to take out this armory and this engineering bay, killing off the upgrades that are coming out of Apocalypse and allowing Leenock to catch up. He's only on 3 bases against a 3-basing Terran. That's actually pretty bad for a Zerg in his position. The infested Terrans are dead. He did get the armory, but so he's going to have to build another one, but not before this research is completed. And now the creep tumors are still giving vision for Leenock. You can see that there are tanks here. You can see that the third base is completely protected. So he's not going to do any kind of run-by, but he is now still just getting his own economy up and running. We have 55 drones against the 38 SCVs. I would have thought Apocalypse would have had more SCVs at this point. He did just lose a bunch, though. So we have Apocalypse still with the worker killed lead, 44 to 31. We have 75 workers killed on both sides this entire game, and it is the longest game out of the 5 that we've seen. We have 4 hatcheries here for Leenock, which is why his harvester count has shot through the roof, and he's taken the supply lead. Again, with the supply cap on both players, they do not have anything, no overlords, no supply depots coming in. We still don't have a scan down here, but it looks like Apocalypse has forewent his his home base. He doesn't need the extra gas here. He can get that later, and he's decided to use this orbital command to start mining his 4th base, especially with all the mules that he's got saved up. This changeling will see everything, and there probably will be a little bit of pressure from Leenock coming in, but not before he's got these 5 overlords to pop. He's going to have 2-2 ground and carapace available in just a little bit, taking a 4th of his own. We have tanks, marauders, stim, combat shield, and more marines coming out for Apocalypse, as well as a 4th command center. Where is he actually putting that? He's putting it right here. If he builds that as an orbital command, he's going to have even more mules available, but if he builds it as a planetary, he's going to be able to defend. Oh, we're going to have some banelings come forward, and yes, the pressure from Leenock is here, trying to cancel the availability of this 3rd base to Apocalypse. Apocalypse getting a 4th command center. And if he builds it as a planetary, it's in a great position to block off any flank here, as well as protect this 3rd base. We have some infested Terrans come in from the infestors on the high ground. Again, I missed that. A single infestor back here trying to take out this engineering bay, or at least set it on fire, is going to be very, very painful to Apocalypse if he is able to cancel that +2 weapons that is coming in right now. We have a Spire, as well as the 4th base going down for Leenock. His 3rd base is actually in a lot of trouble with these sieged up tanks, and Leenock drops a huge amount of infested Terrans to block off the forces of Apocalypse as they come in. He flanks with the Zerglings. He's going to be taking out all of the siege tanks, and now these Marines are going to have to be lifted and run away as best as he can. If he gets up, oh, he didn't fungal him in time. He does not have the energy on those infestors to fungal. He did lose his 4th, but so did Apocalypse, and he's going to drop a command center here, make it a planetary. He's going to use this one to scan and fill out the mineral line of this. And we'll look at the harvester count right now. It's still 36 to 60. The economy is heavily in Leenock's favor, redropping that 4th because he's got the money. The SCV count needs to shoot through the roof for Apocalypse if he wants to catch up economic-wise. More Marines are on the map. He's still at 1-1. The units of Leenock are at 2-0, but that's okay, at least for the Roaches. The Zerglings are the ones that have the melee upgrade. The Roaches just need to be able to survive 50 Marines shooting at them, which the extra 2, sorry for the lag, the extra 2 Carapace is ever so helpful because the +1 Gauze rifles are only going to be able to do 5 damage to the Roaches instead of 7. So they're going to, oh, huge fungal on a non-medevac group of Marines. That is so much damage, and he's stimmed on top of that. And he's going to be trying to run through here. If there are any units whatsoever, he's going to be able to do some serious damage himself. Leenock has got some Overlord problems here, but look how quickly these very weak Marines are going to be killed by the Zerglings. If they were at all at full speed, full strength, he could have microed them into another corner up against this hatchery and been able to kill off a huge amount of those Zerglings. But you can see the supply count is going and further into Leenock's favor. This morphing supply, oh, he put it into an orbital command. He didn't even put it into a planetary fortress because he didn't kill off the Baneling that was here. Did he muled instead of scanned for this? That's really kind of amazing that Apocalypse isn't able to deal with that more effectively. And you can see that the infestors are still here, still harassing, still picking off what they can and annoying the ever-living piss out of Apocalypse. Pardon my not-so-French. These 2 Koreans are playing a very, very harassy type game. This is something that you need to get used to when you're looking at Heart of the Swarm. All of Heart of the Swarm, from what I hear from the pros and from what I hear of people who played Wings of Liberty at the outset, it's the kind of game where one base harass into an all-in is the name of the game, essentially, which is exactly what Wings of Liberty was like at the very beginning. Still, until people started learning how to harass and how to counter-harass, and we now have Brood Lords coming in. So I'll finish my thought later. More video lag, thank you to the version difference, and you can already see the lift on that. He's going to lose this orbital command. Oh, he just barely saves it at the end. He's going to have to lift this one as well. The Baneling has been killed, but this siege tank is doing more damage than anything because these Broodlings are just going to die against this. There are three starports out right now to fight off these Brood Lords, but the Viking count is not high enough just yet. He's going to have to wait before he can start picking these things off. He's killing what he can. These Vikings are at 0-0. They need to be at least 1-1. At least 1 increased attack so that he can start picking off these Brood Lords with efficiency. The Queens here, on the other hand, have a different idea and are trying to keep the Brood Lords alive with those transfuses. Sorry, I need to drink some beer to heal my parched throat. But the fact that these don't have reactors on them kind of bothers me. The economy of Apocalypse couldn't handle the reactored starports again, and something to drink. But we're gonna wait until after this game. The Brood Lords here are just doing so much damage, and now they can just run away. There's a bit of a drop here. He was able to do some damage against the Harvester count. 72 harvesters get killed by Apocalypse, 60 by Leenock. You can just see how effective this economy defeat has been, economy attacks have been so fruitful for both players. They've been able to slow this game down to a crawl, essentially. Now some of the creep is being cleaned out, which is going to help him save his 4th base. This ever so annoying creep tumor is right there, though, and there are more and more pushing across the map. You can see how excellent Leenock has been able to do this while he's been trying to build up his own economy back home. The harvester count is still heavily in his favor, 63 to 53. I need to change my diction a little bit, and now we have Ultralisks coming in, a great fungal on these still un-medevaced units. He has no energy on that single medevac he's got. More and more Marines are coming across the map, but he's not going to be able to do anything. He's going to kill off these rocks with whatever he wants to do, and these 2 starports against the supply cap Terran are so useless. Banelings are coming in against the Great Fungals. Now these Vikings are going to be great against the Broodlords, but the Ultralisk follow-up would have been even more terrifying, and they're doing enough damage anyway, so Apocalypse taps out against FXO Leenock. Leenock takes the series 2-1. Hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I sure enjoyed casting it. Thank you very much. Cheers.